Morning all, I hope you're well. I thought I'd give it another go after the old mackerel again. Well, it's not lovely like it was the other day. There's a good west southwesterly breeze. It's about 17, gusting 25. And there's a bit of a northerly roll in the water. We had a bit of a northerly yesterday morning, that put a bit of roll in the water, but it ain't too bad. Hopefully we'll see a few fish. I come earlier today, I'm 3 hours before the high water, so it gives us plenty of time, because last trip we only had them fish for like 20-25 minutes until the tide finished, and that was it. So I'm well early today. I'll have to see what this drift is doing. That's pushing us off the beach too quickly. I have to walk the drogue. That's brilliant. Just a drogue on a bit of rope that I put over the bow of the boat to slow the drift down. That's worth its weight in gold if you're drifting along too fast, because that obviously bite into the water and stop you from drifting out so quick. I think that roughly slow you, that basically double the time of your drift. That slow you down to half your speed you're doing if you ain't got a drogue. There's a lot of time us little boats only go off in a westerly wind, and if it's a good westerly, that drogue is worth its weight in gold. These are the sets of feathers I'm using. I tied them all myself. I use 20 hooks a side. Obviously these are alternative between mylar and just bits of plastic tubing. Obviously you've got to match your feathers to what the fish are feeding on, and they're all like little fry here, all about 2 inches long, 2.5 inches, something like that. So they're perfect. I can see them sitting in the water just under the surface in the summer. I can't now, but these are the hooks I use, 20 a side. That's more than enough. I can fit 30 a side, but I can't work in shallow water because the hooks are set 9 inches apart. So with the strop on the end for the lead, obviously, so everything go through the stripper box, that make it, I've got to use be like 30 foot of water for 30 hooks, but a lot of the time they're in 20. But they seem to work alright. Well, if you've never watched my channel before, my videos, the setup I got is 2 Bellotronic jigger machines, what's like a computer controlled reel. Then obviously got the spool on the back. That's filled up a braid. Obviously that worked better in less drag in deeper water, not that we really use it here. And then I just put a 200-pound mono leader on. The length of the leader is round the spool about the same as fishing on the beach and multipliers or fixed spools. I put it around the spool about 5-6 times up to the letterbox and roller, and then back again, so I got more than enough. And obviously, you know, it's like abrasion resistance on nylon is a lot better than abrasion resistance on braid. Braid's got hardly any abrasion resistance, so the main working bit of line is mono. Obviously that then goes to a stripper box. You see, they strip the mackerel off. I've got adjustments for different size mackerel, but I'm happy with it, so I left it. Then it go over a tray and down the chute. Obviously you've got a little chute on the side, so the mackerel come off here, flip about, come down the chute into a box. Easy peasy. There's the 2 boxes in position, so obviously you just flip down the chute into a box. Alright, that's not perfect, but I'm only a small little boat and I do netting and other different things at the same time as mackerel jigging, so I'm a bit restricted what I can do. I ain't got loads of room like these good sized boats. It's near a little 21 foot tactile, so you got to make do with what you got. Well, that's just a really strong tide today. That's about 2.8 metres, quite not quite to 3 metres the other day. That's quite strong. I'm not actually getting affected by the wind that much. If you look at the plot line, that's virtually running along the beach slowly. That's perfect, that is. That'll slowly drag me across the contour lines. I don't need the drogue in place like this. I might need it as the tide is. The tide is taking paramount over the wind at the minute. That's lovely, you just cover a good area. Well, as I self-launch on an open beach, I have to put the boat on an anchor. The first thing I do once I get aboard, start the engine up, I like to tie the anchor up, because you don't want all that rope and chain around your feet, that's dangerous. But I couldn't launch the boat without an anchor and a bit of rope, especially the tide. Just got to just put it along the beach, so when the boat launched and go with the tide, that then pivot on it really. You got to get back to the boat after take the track off the beach before your boat come on the beach. Just got to get a bit of a wiggle on. That's no hardship really. I had a bit of an issue this morning as I was launching. A wave come and hit the front of the boat and slowed it down, come off the trailer. So it's a bit, the arse end straight on the trailer a bit. So I just had to reverse it, foot or two, and just give it a kick. Well, that weren't too bad. You got to do what you got to do. There's a bit of fry showing. Was a good sign, but I had no fish yet. If you look, zoom out on the plotter. I had a good drift all the way from up here, all the way along. It was probably about a mile, but I had no fish. Hopefully there might be more fish that tidies a bit. But there you go. The water clarity is nowhere near what it was the other day. But you can't have perfect conditions all the time. At the end of the day, you don't catch nothing sitting at home, do you? It's better to be out on the water and not get a lot than it is be sitting on the sofa watching pup on the telly. As we were drifting so fast, I thought I'd motor further north, but we didn't get enough on that drift. But it's like a different day right on the beach. It's lovely sheltered by these. It's lovely sheltered by the dunes here. It's lovely. But when you got outside of it, it's getting a bit lumpy and white caps. Alright, there's no problem, no risk. But it's just a lot more comfortable sitting on the beach here. It's lovely in here. It's sheltered by the cliffs. So yeah, there's gear working away nicely. I did pick up a fair few bits of weed on the hooks. That's obviously strong tide didn't help that, but there's like 2 hours of tide or so left, so hopefully that'll ease up and there'll be less weed. That doesn't do you any good when you're mackerel jigging. Not that we get a lot of mackerel near where I am in Norfolk coast near Great Yarmouth. There's never been a lot of mackerel here for 20 odd years. I don't know why, but I was speaking to a skipper up Scotland who catch hundreds of tons of time, and he said he don't know why, but most of the mackerel now, well, they used to like split. Some go down the east coast and some go down the west coast. Nearly all of them go down the west coast now. I don't know why, whether it's sea temperatures or feed. I ain't got a clue. I don't think a lot of people know about the sea really. There's so much to try and understand. I don't think anyone really know. Several drifts, a couple of drifts, and there's not a sausage. Just a bit of weed. Hope they ease up soon. The tide ease up. They must just that last hour and a half. The tide or something. The tide start easing. Let's hope that ease any minute soon. There's huge shoals of fry coming through now. That's a good sign. But if they're lying near the bottom, they're normally proven no mackerel there, because when it's mackerel here, the mackerel obviously herd them together and lift them up in the water. But this is where the fish will be if there's any. They might feed better closer to the end of the tide. We've got 2 hours of tide left now. We can but wait and try, can't we? Well, if you can see that yellow house in the distance, you know, obviously yellow painted gable. That used to be an old mark we used to use before GPS, fish finders and plotters and all the other shit. When we used to poodle around in little 16-foot wooden walker boats. That house was painted white for years, and we all used to refer to that as the White House. You wouldn't dream of using houses as landmarks now, really, would you? That's all in the past, but they were good old days. A lot more fish about. Alright, the boats were only little old things, and we used to roll the nets out. The technology has moved on a hell of a lot, but they were good old times we had. I was used to go to sea when I was about 7 or 8. My dad used to be shooting the nets behind, and my granddad used to be rolling the nets out. And sometimes the old granddad used to roll a bit too fast, and the old man would say to him, "You in some sort of race?" And I used to laugh. And you think you ain't putting nets out very quickly at rolling speeds, and now I shoot nets at 7 knots. You'd think you were mad then. The old little 4 or 5 horsepower Seagull engines with the old square blades. Now times have changed, eh? With all the legislation and other fun we have nowadays, it's not for the better. Well, that's been disappointing so far. I had them 5 mackerel. I had nothing since. I had 2 or 3 drifts since. It's in nothing. Just a bit of weed. That tide's now started to ease. Look on the plotter, instead of drifting along at an angle, they're drifting more of an angle heading straight to the sea. So the wind is taking us above the tide. I might have to put the drogue out and see if we can get a straighter drift. Because I had them mackerel exactly the same spot I had them a couple of days ago. It's just seemed to be in one little spot, but I'm drifting through there and I ain't getting nothing now. I don't know why. Crossed my fingers and it was last half saver bacon. So it didn't look very good. 5 mackerel, is it? It's nothing but tea. 2 teas, I agree. That's more like it. A couple of mackerel and they're crackers. Lovely job, happy days, just what we want to see. 2 lovely mackerel. That totally changed your mood, doesn't it, when you start getting a few fish come aboard. Lovely. Nothing wrong with them, they're cracking fish. And we even had 3 on the other side too. Even better. Hopefully this will be the start of a few fish now. Lovely to see a few fresh mackerel there. Some of the best eating fish you can get, aren't they? Cool, they're lovely. Beat most fish hands down when they're fresh, but they are better than 24 hours old. For those who have never used drogues before, that's basically just an underwater parachute. That basically bites into the tide and pull you along. That's like a brake. You go with the tide, and as the wind tries and pull you against it, that slow you down. They're well worth having for drift fishing. I don't use it very often, but they are worth the weight in gold. That could be a difference, especially I've used them in Norway before. And before we used it, we just drifted totally wrong. When you stick the drogue over, you drift lovely. You've got plenty of cod and haddock. Shame we don't get that sort of amount of fish here. Well, that's the drogue out in the water, running off the bow. I don't think you can see you can't see the drogue in the sun, but that's just underneath the surface. You can see the ripples about there, just acting like an underwater kite. So that'll slow us down from getting blown out to sea so quickly. Got a fair bit of pressure on it. They do work well. Just had 1 mackerel. Never been so happy to see a mackerel in my life. It's been about an hour and a half since I've seen one, and finally got one. Bloody hell, whatever next. Maybe that drogue is working properly. Only just set the drogue over. Next minute, 3 cracking mackerel on the line. Lovely, can't fault that. Just need a few more now, don't we? Hadn't seen hardly nothing in a couple of hours, and now hopefully we'll start getting a few. Last half hour of the tide. Well, as you can see now that tide's eased, and just wind on the drogue, that drogue was really dug in deep. We're barely moving now, really slowly. But there hasn't been much fish, it's been very disappointing. Basically the tide's finished, and that's flicking between about round half a knot, 4.7 knots. We're fishing here now in probably 20-25 mile an hour breeze, but we'll be drifting like Billio if it weren't for that drogue. We'll be flying out. They make a hell of a difference, really do. Well, that's been very disappointing so far. I thought we'd get some on the last half of the tide like we did a couple of days ago, but it's been hardly nothing. The ebb's now through. I've lifted the drogue up to see how we drift, and yeah, we're drifting twice the speed as what we were with the drogue down. But I thought I'd just come inside tight just to see if there's a few dots sprinkling the fish on the first of that ebb. That's not looking very good. That's been very disappointing. I think after this trip, that'll be time to take all the jig and gear off the boat. take the pot hauler off, buy my pot hauler, and then put the net hauler on and the herring net's in. It's getting near that time, I think. This water's very sheer, that lie up here early in the morning or in the dark. You won't catch herring in this sheer old water. It's been a very disappointing summer for mackerel. Well, all the gear's packed away now, all packed away. Drogue, the feathers in the boxes. Been a bit of a disastrous trip, really. I thought after a couple of days ago there's a few fish at the last half hour of the tide. I thought if I come a couple of hours early I'd have been alright, but obviously not. That'll be the mackerel gear put away now till next summer. That's done. It's a lovely, that was a very windy day, and the drogue saved my bacon really. Not that there was any fish there, but you got to give yourself a chance, ain't you? A bit disappointing. I think there's only a dozen or so mackerel. There weren't many. Yeah, there weren't many mackerel hardly at all. That's certainly a pound for the fuel. But there you go, that's life. It's just nice to be out here. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.